Welcome back to the McCowan Podcast. Okay, Doug Armstrong's with us. Doug, we're done with the Blues now. We don't have to put you under the hot seat for the Blues anymore. We've asked all of our key questions. Darren, yours.
All right. You are a Hockey Canada guy, international hockey guy. We heard the comments from Bill Daly recently regarding some kind of international tournament and then the Olympics. How involved are you on that, and how excited are you about the potential of this becoming a pretty consistent apparatus?
Well, I'll answer the second part first. I'm excited because I love best on best. I think seeing and being part of it before and watching that, I think it's going to be great for hockey. I think it's going to help grow the game. I think being innovative on how we do it is going to be interesting. As far as participation, those calls come from Hockey Canada, and so I don't know. I've enjoyed every time I've been there. There's such a great group of younger people coming. I look at Spezza now and Nash. There's guys that have carried the flag for the country before that are getting to management that are going to be really good at that. So if I can ever help out, I always will, because I just think it's a great honor. But more importantly for the game, I think it's great to see the vision of growing the game. I think the one area of concern, I think, for everybody is that every other year, that's a lot of tasking of the same players year in, year out. And the one thing with you want to make sure that there's enough gas in the tank. Like you look at that Tampa team that went 3 years in a row in the finals, and if you had thrown in 2 international events mid-season, that's a lot of hockey for a small group of guys. Now, that being said, it's just always going to be great for the game. But those are little things. That's the manager's hat coming on me,
Yeah.
not the fan hat. The fan hat says, "I'll suck it up and play." But as a manager, you're a little bit wondering how that's going to work out. But I think it's going to be great. I think that the league and the PA understand the passion that players have to want to play with their fellow countrymen, to play best on best. The countries are getting so competitive. The Finns are there every year. The Swedes are great. The Americans got a great program. Hopefully the world geopolitics will get taken care of. We'll get Russia back in the fold, and Canada. So it's just I just love best on best. I think everybody else does. And it's great to see that the union and the league want to make that a priority moving forward.
Okay, putting your manager's hat back on, 2 weeks, 17-day gap in the middle of February every second year. That means a compressed schedule. How much of a challenge is that for a manager? We've been through it a couple of times already.
Yeah, I think it. Well, we went through it. I'll go to my 2 examples, and I can only use, like in Vancouver, it didn't seem that big of a deal because the guys were flying a shorter distance.
Right.
When we went to Russia, it seemed long, and the travel. And we had a very good team in in St. Louis when we got back from that, and we never found our footing again. Now we had, I think, 9 to 11 players. I know Sabaka got hurt, so we had almost half our team over there, and we just couldn't find our footing when we got back. The energy level was zapped. So if this tournament is in North America, I think that's going to have it'd be a big positive. But I know to grow the game, if you want to grow the game, you got to go where you want the game to grow, and that's in Europe too. So those are going to be the challenges. I think one thing too, John, that when you played the World Cup of Hockey or the Canada Cup in the day, it was in the summer. So any injuries weren't as focused and significant as they are when they happen in February. When you see players get injured at the Olympics and then they miss the playoffs or the playoff drive, that's a big hit to an organization. So that's the yin and the yang about the February tournament. But as I said, as a fan, I think it's going to be great, and you have to rely on the NHL and the NHLPA, and we all do, to do what's best for the game, short and long term, and just assuming those risks are part of it.
So would you prefer a September tournament?
Well, and that's the hard part. Like this, from a competitive standpoint, to give your players the best chance. Most of them have had 6 to 8 weeks off. They come in, you can build into it, and then if anything poorly happens to an individual player, he's back. But also, then you're going against like the NFL starting up Major League Baseball's pennant drive. You don't have the same audience as you're going to have in February, where really you're just going, football's over, baseball hasn't started, so it's you and basketball, and you have a really, and your fans are already in tune with the game. It's like getting when days are running shorter and good days are running out in Canada in September. It's a commitment to want to take an afternoon and not go outside and do something to watch a hockey game. You don't have that in February, where you're just looking for the closest pub that has a cold beer, and you'd love to sit in there for 4 or 5 hours. So I think there's positives to the February tournament, and there's negatives, and that's why there's a great reliance on the league and the union to weigh those out and do what they think is best. But from a manager's perspective, I see the September one being better. From the fans' perspective, I see the February one being the way to go.
I just want to be in the pub with you.
Oh no, I've done
Bring
that.
some money.
Hold on, I've done that and lost. It's it's a challenge times.